Where were you when God died? Me? I was across the street looking gone as the cops approached his car with guns drawn. I wish God had actually had a gun, so at least he could have fought back. When God died, I was at his side while we made war in the hood. Once separated, he ran left, I ran right. As the shots rang off, he cried. When God died, passed away. Holding her 100-color 7-year-old hand in the hospital as she laid before me, beaten and raped. I could never forget those eyes, those young but no longer innocent eyes stopped upon me as God was at home watching a documentary on the African AIDS epidemic, and all his nurse could do to comfort him was to place a cool down towel on his forehead, and with his last breath he looked up to whisper thank you as God passed away. I was screaming, leave him alone, rattling to the bars of my prison cage as the Aryan Nation skinheads stomped the life out of him, and the guards, they didn't move, they were too petrified to help. God died. Death in my arms because one man decided he didn't want him leading us any longer. So I saw God die. Thousands of miles away from home, fighting for a nation that regarded him as a problem. Ironic, the bravest man they had, labeled as a nuisance. So I saw God die as we stalked the jungles of our homeland, vainly attempted to protect our families from imperialism's encroachment, only able to match our enemies' firepower with the fire which burned in our hearts, which still burned after on. God died, I rocked back and forth slowly on my knees, crying for I tipped him by his cross up the hill of Golgotha. When he could no longer, being a God myself, I felt his pain. But being a true God, he may have died, but he didn't experience death, which is the destiny of all of God's gods, as long as your heart is true. This is the destiny of all of God's gods, as long as your heart is true. This is the destiny of all of God's gods, as long as your heart is true. This is the destiny of all of God's gods, as long as your heart is true. So is God dead? No. But does he die? Yes, every day. But to him, dying is merely a transition. And this gives me what I need to know to continue on, for I know God is with me and in me. And when it comes time for this God to die, I know I shall live on. So ask yourself, where were you when God died? Where were you when God died? Ask yourself, where were you when God died?
So ask yourself, where